on News Channel 5.
Finally, O.J. Simpson on the stand and under oath. We have eyewitness accounts and expert analysis tonight of Simpson's performance in his first day of testimony. The sex harassment scandal at Army training sites. The Army Secretary orders investigations, vowing to follow the evidence wherever it leads. And travels with Harry, uncovering an American treasure.
This is the CBS Evening News, with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. More than 2 years after the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, O.J. Simpson took the witness stand for the first time today in the wrongful death civil suit filed by the victims' families. Simpson, called as a hostile witness by the plaintiffs, testified with lips pursed and fists clenched. Our coverage begins with Bill Whitaker, who was in the courtroom today.
This was the day O.J. Simpson said he'd been waiting for. Today, he swore before God to tell the whole truth to a jury of his peers. Almost immediately after Simpson took the stand, Daniel Petrocelli, attorney for the father of murder victim Ron Goldman, aggressively zeroed in on what's considered Simpson's most vulnerable spot, domestic violence. He showed the jury these pictures of Simpson's ex-wife, Nicole, bruised and cut after their 1989 fight, which sent Nicole to the hospital. How many times in the course of that fight did you hit Nicole? Petrocelli demanded. Never, said Simpson. How many times did you slap Nicole? Never, Simpson said. How many times did you beat her? Never, Simpson answered. Simpson, seemingly flustered, said Nicole had started the fight and he'd put her in a headlock to physically remove her from their bedroom. He downplayed the fight on the stand and in this interview shortly afterwards.
No one was hurt. It was no big deal, and we got on with our life.
If so, then why, demanded Petrocelli, had Simpson written this letter of apology for hurting Nicole, and written in another that he had got crazy that night? Why had he promised to tear up their prenuptial agreement if he ever willfully inflicted physical injury on her again?
He's O.J. Simpson. I think you know his record. Hey, just stay on the line. I don't want to stay on the line. He's going to beat the shit out. Wait a minute.
And why, on a night 4 years later, when police were called again, did Nicole tell the officers she was scared of Simpson? Simpson's response? Nicole was lying. Petrocelli read a passage from Simpson's 1969 autobiography in which the football star said, quote, "I think I lie pretty effectively." Petrocelli then asked coolly, "You are a pretty effective liar, are you not?" "Objection," shouted Simpson's attorneys.
Much of this examination is setting up for later witnesses who are going to say, yes, O.J. did hit his wife. So now not only is he a wife beater, but he's also a liar. And if he's lying about this, maybe he's lying about the crime.
Later in the day, Petrocelli read from Nicole Brown Simpson's handwritten diary, in which she wrote just shortly before her murder that O.J. Simpson had threatened to turn her in to the Internal Revenue Service and had then called her a long string of obscenities. Simpson claims the diary entry is untrue. With his questioning, Petrocelli is slowly and methodically moving O.J. Simpson closer to the time of the murders. Dan?
Bill, you were in court today. Tell us what the atmosphere is like in there.
Well, Dan, it was very tense and there was lots of anxiety. Everyone was waiting to hear what O.J. Simpson had to say, but perhaps no one more than Daniel Petrocelli. He was pressing O.J. Simpson, trying to get a rise out of him, trying to press his buttons. But despite all of the questioning, O.J. Simpson, he did appear flustered, but he never lost his cool. Dan?
Bill, thanks. Now, for additional context and perspective on Simpson's first day of testimony, we talk with our CBS News legal consultants, Greg Garrison and Laurie Levinson. Professor Levinson was in the courtroom, and I asked her a short while ago to describe the scene as Simpson took the stand.
Oh, it was really electrifying. Everybody's eyes were on O.J., but what was really interesting is that the jurors didn't want to look so much at O.J., at least not when he was testifying. When there were sidebars, they looked anywhere else, including up at the ceiling, but they were not making contact with him.
What's the significance of that?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I mean, some of the things that were testified to about this morning were very uncomfortable, including all the domestic violence, and O.J. basically denying everything. And the jurors, I'm not sure how this is setting with them.
Greg Garrison, you heard this testimony, you've had a little chance to think about it. What would you say were the climactic moments of this today?
I don't think there are very many people in this hemisphere who doubt that this man struck his wife on occasion.
She looks the part. She's got the photographs to prove it. We've got 911. So I think that's a extremely important moment when he says, didn't happen, because I don't think anybody's going to buy that. And I'm impressed by what Lori says about the way the jury doesn't look at him. My experience with juries is they say a lot with their eyes and they say an awful lot with their body language. And typically, in my experience, has been when you turn away from looking at the guy, you don't want to hear what he's got to say anymore, and that could be significant.
In terms of the evidence, set aside O.J.'s testimony, what has been the best of the evidence against him from his standpoint, the worst of it?
Those shoes are a tremendous problem for him. If he continues to say, those are ugly shoes and I wouldn't wear them, in the face of a photograph that clearly has them on his feet, now we've got a lot more than just a shoe problem. We've got a lying problem. And once they think he's lying to them, watch the dominoes fall. It's a very big difference.
Let's play a quick game for just a moment. Lori Levinson, if you're O.J. Simpson's attorneys, after what happened today, what do you tell him?
You tell him to stay calm. O.J., do not lose your cool. You'll get your chance when we question you to tell the full story.
Greg Garrison, what do you tell him?
Lighten up. Sit back in your chair. Relax your posture and put your hands together like this or something. No more fists. He's a big man. He's an athlete with a marvelous, huge pair of hands. And in juxtaposition to the size of his wife who died, he's a towering giant. We got to soften that some way.
Greg Garrison, Lori Levinson, thanks. In other news, a government investigator says the failure of federal aviation officials to act against ValueJet before the Everglades crash, quote, really smells. That story still ahead. Also, Assignment India. Correspondent Scott Pelley in the thick of one of the worst air pollution problems on Earth, though this one could be a very close second.
Finally, great popcorn from your microwave.
Power Pop.
Presto Power Pop Microwave Multi-Popper.
Power Pop.
Pops virtually every kernel. Pop with oil, pop without oil. Nothing pops like Power Pop. That's why it's endorsed by Orville Redenbacher.
Power Pop.
From Presto. Bayer. Powerful pain relief and so much more.
People today are living longer and healthier lives. And at Nature Made, we like to think we've been a part of it. As the makers of vitamin and mineral supplements that are recommended by pharmacists more than 1,000 times a day. Nature Made, recommended by pharmacists, made for a lifetime.
FBI Director Louis Freeh is on his way to Saudi Arabia to get what's called a final report on the investigation of last June's truck bombing at a U.S. military base. The Saudis are holding some 40 suspects and have reportedly found evidence linking the attack to Iran. President Clinton has promised, quote, appropriate action against any nation found to be involved in the bombing that killed 19 U.S. servicemen. An update and follow-up tonight to Diana Olick's recent investigation of alleged sexual harassment of civilian women employed at Fort Bliss, Texas. Olick spoke with about half the more than 40 women at the Army post who made the charges. They told of being fondled, of demands for sex by their bosses, then being demoted or fired when they complained. Today, 13 of those women filed a discrimination lawsuit in federal court against U.S. Army Secretary Togo West. Now, for his part, Army Secretary West announced today that he's stepping up and deepening the investigation of harassment at all bases and at all levels of command. David Martin has that part of the story.
You got about 5 seconds.
With 9 drill sergeants facing criminal charges and as many as 24 more under investigation, the Secretary of the Army announced today he will also investigate whether senior officers ignored or condoned widespread sexual harassment.
This is a leadership issue, and we, the leaders, have to stand up and consider ourselves responsible.
Did officers above the drill sergeants know what was going on, and if not, why not? Since it seems to have been common knowledge among female recruits at Aberdeen Proving Ground in Maryland.
So when this stuff was going on, did you all know about it?
I did. You know, I didn't feel that it was my place to go and say, well, so-and-so was doing this and with this drill sergeant or whatever.
Silence at the bottom left those at the top in the dark.
For some time now, we have actually thought that we had a way of determining what was going on. What we're learning may well be that we were wrong.
Wrong because women may not have come forward for fear officers would not take their complaints seriously. In one case, this captain was widely known to be having sex with a recruit, and that, says former Army lawyer Kerry Buckey, gave a green light to everyone below him.
If a company commander gets involved in a situation like that, then the NCOs are going to perceive that not only is it okay, but if they get caught, nothing will happen to them because the company commander is the first level to stop it.
That company commander is now charged with rape, but uncovering and punishing the culprits may be the simplest part of this investigation. The hardest part will be figuring out how the Army could have been so wrong about what was going on in the ranks. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
Autopsy results are in the case of the college couple accused of murdering the baby they delivered in a Delaware motel room. The medical examiner said today the baby was born alive and healthy. A defense attorney in the case had suggested that the infant might have been stillborn.
Oh, well, I'm the kind of light for your holiday list. I'll help you in so many ways. I'd make the perfect gift, 'cause I'm the snake light from Black & Decker. I'd get around, around, around. I'm the snake light.
Got tough heartburn and pain? Nothing else. No caplet, no liquid has Alka-Seltzer's effervescent power, plus the medicine for your worst symptoms. Alka-Seltzer, the best medicine for heartburn and pain.
You need funds. You need to diverse.
While everyone else is telling you which funds to buy.
Small cap funds. I'd be looking at the Pacific Rim.
Here's a tip on how to buy them. Mutual Fund One Source from Charles Schwab. The funds you want in one place, all with no loads. If your fund doesn't say this, maybe you're making life too complicated. Call now for 6 months of our Mutual Fund Select list free.
If you've been drinking Ensure, there's a little something you should know. Nobody, not even Ensure, gives you more protein with less fat than Sustacal. Now, Sustacal can't add years to your life, but it might help add life to your years.
Coming up at 6, former Governor Ray Blanton died while waiting for a liver transplant. We'll have details and a look back on his controversial administration tonight on our 6 o'clock report.
Federal highway safety officials today issued major changes to improve airbag safety, as we first reported they would do last night. Among the proposals, starting with model year 1999, car makers start phasing in so-called smart airbags that can adjust their explosive force to the size of the person in the seat. A final rule issued today for more prominent warning labels about the danger to children in front seats, and proposals soon to reduce the power of airbags in current models or allow vehicle owners to disconnect them entirely. Federal air safety investigators wrapped up their week-long hearings today about the ValueJet crash into the Florida Everglades. But as they heard testimony from one of the final witnesses, there was anything but closure. Instead, fresh questions about whether the FAA covered up ValueJet's safety problems in the weeks before the crash. Bob Orr reports.
3 months before ValueJet Flight 592 crashed into the Everglades, FAA manager John Turturro warned of continuing safety problems at the airline. In this memo to his FAA supervisors, Turturro wrote, "Consideration should be given to an immediate recertification of this airline. Strong action amounting to a shutdown." When his bosses ignored the warning, Turturro felt powerless to do more.
And I would have taken whatever action that I felt would have been necessary at the time, but I was specifically asked to keep this report somewhat confidential.
The FAA's inaction drew an angry rebuke from NTSB investigators.
You know, Mr. Turturro, this smells. It really smells when you have an internal report that has such pointed findings. It's done in preparation, in posturing for hearings or investigations. It smells. All right? It really smells.
There was evidence besides Turturro's report. In the months before the crash, ValueJet had an accident rate more than 10 times the airline industry average. Yet the FAA took no major action.
What does it take to trigger a response? Who's sleeping?
I don't think anybody's sleeping, Mr. Golia. I think that the principals were doing their job.
But families of the crash victims left Miami today with more bitterness than answers.
We lost our loved ones due to negligence, and this was not an accident because it is something that could have been prevented.
An opinion certain to be echoed in the NTSB's final report. While oxygen canisters in the jet's cargo hold will be blamed for causing the crash, the actions of ValueJet and the FAA clearly will be cited as contributing factors. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
The 1996 elections are long over, but not apparently the fallout over Democratic fundraiser John Wong and campaign contributions from business interests in Asia. Today, the Democratic Party returned another $450,000 of that money. All told, the Democratic Party has now sent back $1.2 million of the $2.5 million raised by Wong. There's more evening news straight ahead, including Travels with Harry. Meet one of the biggest little winners in America.
We've been around a long time together. Some of you guys, 4 years.
Now is no time to discover your ordinary flashlight isn't working.
Come on, snake light, and rescue.
Now you need the Auto Snake Light. Plug it in or run it on batteries. Be prepared. The Auto Snake Light. Very clever, Black & Decker.
There are ways to make your leftover turkey seem more glamorous and exciting. Some just work better than others. Got enough stovetop?
Tim, you know how kids ask what your dad does? Nobody ever asked me.
Richard, when your last name is Smucker and you live in Orville, everybody knows what your dad does.
These two Smuckers grew to make the jam their great-grandfather made, the same delicious way.
Everybody knows? Who told them?
For almost 100 years, the Smucker family has made it good. With a name like Smuckers, it has to be good.
Trusting the wrong diarrhea medicine can put you in a very uncomfortable position. But you can count on Imodium AD to stop diarrhea, often in one dose. You could end up taking dose after dose after dose of the pink stuff to stop diarrhea as effectively as Imodium AD. Don't take chances with diarrhea.
You should have taken Imodium AD.
Take Imodium AD.
Sorry.
One dose relief you can count on.
Ah, the good old days of supermarket shopping. When nothing stood between you and your next meal. Nothing. But today, there are materials that help lock out harmful contaminants and reduce spoilage, keeping us safe and the food we eat fresh. Plastics make it possible. So now, the rest is history.
A double dose of college football. First, it's Boston College and Miami. Then, Kentucky contends with Tennessee. Saturday on CBS. 2 thumbs up.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is considering new and much tougher clean air standards for the nation. Many cities still fail to meet current air pollution limits. Supporters of tighter limits say smog is a health danger, especially to children, the elderly, and anyone with asthma. Among those lobbying against are some local governments and many businesses. They say cutting smog even more will cost billions of dollars, shut down factories, and force what they call mandatory restrictions on travel. Now, just how bad could the pollution and the solution get? One of our best correspondents, Scott Pelley, found the outer limits of both as he traveled to the old city of Delhi on assignment in India.
The traffic of Delhi is a drive-by assault on the senses. Under the crush of 10 million people, the Indian capital has become a kind of hydrocarbon hell. The air is among the thickest in the world, and it's killing as many as 20 people a day.
What is happening to the health of the people in this city?
Well, air pollution leads to essentially respiratory problems, cardiac problems, cancers, and ear, nose, throat problems. So ultimately, one of these things kills you.
2.5 million tailpipes pump unfiltered, fully leaded smoke. In the rush to jump on board the modern world, the city's poor have improvised a cheap but filthy fleet. These three-wheeled scooters are used for everything, even school buses. Their little engines are the dirtiest.
In Delhi, it has become an art form to pack as many people as possible inside and on top of every kind of vehicle.
So mass transit is overwhelmed. Ancient buses add more than their share to the air. Now the government, itself shrouded in smog, is considering what no great city has done before: ban all additional vehicles. Among the people, it is heresy, an attack on Delhi's new sacred cow. I feed my family repairing these, Farsim Lalsiani told us. You want air? Plant trees. It's the same throughout the developing world. 3 wheels and a 2-stroke engine is upward mobility, no matter what the price. The air has been getting a lot of attention in India. A few years ago, the Taj Mahal began showing signs of corrosion. Politicians worry.
So 2 years ago, the Delhi government decided to do something about it. Now all motor vehicles have to pass a pollution test. Drivers that fail face a $175 fine. The problem is, no one is paying the least bit of attention.
Trying to affect the motoring masses is whistling in the wind. Old rules, new rules, what's a traffic cop to do?
We are going to have the world's largest urban population very soon. And if everyone in this urban sector of India wants to have cars, then they're going to kill themselves.
In the Ganges Valley, Delhi has survived 3,000 years. Now its future depends on whether its impoverished masses can merge with the modern world without driving themselves to death. On assignment in Delhi, India, I'm Scott Pelley.
As bad as it is in India, you won't find anything anywhere to match this scene in the south of France. These are 2 million starlings who flew into town, Perpignan, and won't leave, though they do leave plenty of evidence. City fathers have tried pruning the trees, firing flares, blasting predator sounds at them through the night, but the birds just won't budge.
To build something that endures takes hard-working people. People who care. People with vision. And the strength to see the job through. We know. Since 1904, that's how we've built a name for ourselves in financial services. Providian. Insurance, credit, and retirement savings.
So far, but you're still going. That's just the way you are. It's so exciting, it's so inviting. It's making whoopee another ride. There's so much room, another lovely afternoon. Don't need a reason, it's just a season for making whoopee.
The brand new DeVille for the time of your life.
People today are living longer and healthier lives. And at Nature Made, we like to think we've been a part of it. As the makers of vitamin and mineral supplements that are recommended by pharmacists more than 1,000 times a day. Nature Made, recommended by pharmacists, made for a lifetime.
There was a time I wouldn't even think about eating dinner at this hour. I'd get heartburn and couldn't get to sleep.
If heartburn keeps you up, try Axid AR, the only medicine that says right on its labeling it can prevent heartburn completely. That's something Tagamet HB 200, Zantac 75, and Pepsid AC just don't claim. Axid AR, proven it can prevent heartburn completely.
Axid AR, I can sleep on that.
Nighty-night.
Report cards are out at Anniston High School in Alabama, and well over half the students have less than a C average. That means they're no longer eligible to play sports. Priorities, say school officials. It may be worth noting that enforcement of this no-pass, no-play policy was delayed until after football season. Priorities. But you know, excellence in the classroom and excellence on the field are not mutually exclusive. In his travels, Harry Smith visited a man who's been proving that year after year.
It is a small college campus that looks like many others in the Midwest. So quaint, a few cows even graze nearby. But the quaint stops here on Saturday afternoon. This little college wins football games big time.
The football team at Central College in Pella, Iowa hasn't had a losing season since Eisenhower was president. That's because 36 years ago, they hired a new football coach. He's still here, and he's still winning, as he might say, like there's no tomorrow.
Damn it, stay with the block!
Ron Skipper is his name. He is a throwback.
Get after him, Noel, get after him!
A straight shooter.
When they pull a jersey off the back, that's a home.
A dinosaur in coach's clothing.
Somebody's gotta want to get upfield!
You never hear him talk about relating to kids or getting down to their level.
Come on, block up front!
He expects them to rise up to his.
That's a good job of running, son. That's the way to run.
I have to have a student, an athlete, and a gentleman to make this program work. I've been told I'm old-fashioned, I'm conservative. Wonderful. That's the way it is.
The philosophy works. 10 undefeated seasons, countless conference champions, and 1 national title. All from a man who says winning games is not as important as practice.
Oh, little spark now, little spark.
Success, that's hard to measure because society measures it in one loss column. I'd like to measure it in terms of how hard kids have worked to get ready to play and then how hard they play.
But Central is no football factory. This is NCAA Division III, where there are no athletic scholarships and where school comes before sports.
And then this would be the external carotid artery.
Some days, a quarter of Skipper's football team is late for practice because of labs and classes.
So you're late for football practice?
School comes before football.
This year has been a struggle for Skipper. He's lost 3 games. The last time that happened was decades ago, when that Smith kid, number 54, played for Skip. Yeah, that's me.
We won the national championship the following year, didn't we?
The year after I graduated?
Yes, yes. I got to get a group of young men that will become a team.
If the high school student who is a gentleman and an athlete comes to campus for a visit, he'll hear a speech Skipper's made 1,000 times before.
We've got to develop, you and I have got to develop respect for each other. I've got to earn that.
We have no pressure!
Inside the tough old Dutchman is a sweetheart who loves his players as much as they love him.
Coach Skip, we just set the all-time record for consecutive winning seasons with 36, and let's make sure this one's a loud one. Everybody ready? Hip, hip!
Skipper is living proof. Sometimes the good guys do win, and win a lot. Harry Smith, CBS News, Pella, Iowa.
And that's part of our world tonight. Now, here's Steve Croft with a preview of Sunday's 60 Minutes.
Once again, 60 Minutes wanders in where angels fear to tread, with a story that's going to make an awful lot of kids unhappy. It's about doing away with Bambi. Bambi, who has leaped off the silver screen and into backyards all over America, raising havoc and spreading Lyme disease. 60 Minutes, Sunday.
For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. Good night, and have a great weekend.
CBS News.